Hi, my name's Ian Soars. I'm the Chief Executive of Dad.info. It's a great privilege to welcome Nick Conn from Help from Addiction. Could you just begin to tell us a bit about how you started this journey?
Yeah, so I'm an addict in recovery, have been for over 10 years now. With me, I'd always suffered with low self-esteem and insecurities, and I tried cocaine and it just went. And it was replaced with this overwhelming confidence, this feeling that I'd always wanted to have. And from then onwards, that was it for me. And I had a career in the police service. Going through the police with a drug addiction is not a good mix.
So Nick, what made you change? What led you to that point of change?
I hit rock bottom. I remember I was living in Berlin. I'd been this is where it took me. I was drug running for Albanians from Berlin to Austria. I ended up owing them a lot of money, and I ran from East Berlin to West Berlin, which was the more affluent part. And I remember I was homeless in the doorway of Gucci, which is why I call myself a tramp with an ego. I'd always told my family how well I was doing because I wanted them to be proud of me. And I remember it kind of hit rock bottom, and I ended up getting on the phone to my mum and I said, I've got a drug problem, I've got Albanians after me for a lot of money, and I'm homeless. You know, she was great. She said, go to a hotel, get them to call me when you're there. And so I went to the Hotel Adlon, which is where Michael Jackson hanged his child over the balcony.
All right.
Of course, tramp with an ego. Next day I was on a flight back to England and into rehab.
What happened at rehab, and how has that impacted you now?
The biggest thing was understanding that I didn't have a drug problem, I had a me problem. That's where the problem was, and the cocaine was just my solution to that. You know, you've got to dive deep and you've got to start looking at where this is all coming from. And the fact is, I live life now knowing that, you know, you may be better at some things than me, and I may be better than some things at you. It makes us all bloody equal. And it's about becoming happy with yourself. And that is probably, you know, one of the biggest lessons that I kind of went through in rehab. Obviously, learning coping skills, relapse prevention techniques, how to deal with triggers is vital before you leave. But once you come out with those tools and you've addressed those underlying issues, it's how you can move forward from this.
What would you say to a dad watching this right now and thinking, that's me?
Knowing it isn't going to sort anything. It's about action. That's the only thing. Nothing changes unless you change it. For now, my recovery is about me. It's not about my son. It's not about my wife. It's not about my family, my parents. My recovery is about me. And anything else that I put in front of my recovery, I'll lose. So the most important thing in the world to me is my recovery. And by having that, it allows me to keep my son in my life, my wife in my life, my business, my house, everything.
Thank you, Nick. It's been a great privilege.
Thank you for having me.